Today I am here to discuss a topic in synth materials. So let me introduce myself before beginning the session. My name is Sagar Reddy and I am from IS Bangalore. I discontinued my MTech. So I gave gate exam the year 2012 and my gate rank is 298. So in the year 2012 my gate score was 854. So for 854 my rank was 298. Today the scenario is completely different. So these mechanical engineers are giving a very high competition. So you need to fight against this competition. So today if you get a score of 854, your rank will be above 500. So the scenario in 2012 and now it's completely different. So if you look at this gate, examination, so this is a very important examination for engineer is considered. So most of the companies are asking for the gate scores and gate rank. So most of the people are struggling for qualifying gate. So most of the people think that gate is a very tough examination. So this is just notion and this is not true. So the thing is that the questions that are being asked in gate examination are not tough. So if you look at the previous year gate questions, if you go through the questions of synth or whatever the subject, I don't know what the previous subject for you actually. So if you go through the synth material questions of previous years, you can easily solve them. So the thing is that the questions which are coming in the gate examination are not tough. The thing is that lack of practice. So the gate examination, we will be having more than 12 to 15 subjects depending upon the stream. So the thing is that you need to recollect all the 12 to 15 subjects in a single point of time. So recollecting all the subjects is very difficult. So we can overcome this by a regular practice. So if you practice regularly, you can easily remember the concepts. So the thing is, as soon as the session of synth materials is completed, you will be able to solve all the problems of previous year gate questions. So, but after a month or two, so you will be unable to solve this question. The thing is that your lack of practice. If you practice regularly, you can easily solve this kind of problems. So in gate, we'll be having 65 questions under 3 hours time. So if you practice regularly, so you can no need of 3 hours for solving 65 questions, truly speaking. Why? Because for gate, calci is allowed. So they are not going to give that tough questions, they are going to give only basic questions. So we can easily solve these basic questions. Generally, if you have regular practice, it takes hardly less than a minute or two for solving these questions. So if you just go through previous year gate questions, and if you just listen to the lectures, you can easily score 60 plus marks. So scoring 60 marks is not that good score. Why? Because nowadays, if you get a 60 marks, your rank will be around 2000. So earlier, if you get 60 marks, your rank would be around 800 like that. So now the scenario has completely changed due to this PSUs are interlinked and they are providing huge packages. And most of the people who are doing job in Infosys and all the other companies, they are leaving the job and they are starting this gate preparation. So they are wasting their time more than 2 years, 1 year. So that is the reason why the competition has increased. If you get 60 plus also, your rank will be around 2000. So the best rank is, so if you get 70 marks, so that is considered as an average student, it is the average performance. So the best performance is 85 plus. So it is very easy to score 60 and 70 marks. If you just go to the previous year gate questions, it's more than enough to score this 60 and 70 marks. So the person who is scoring 70 marks, I'm not saying that he is not capable of scoring 85 marks. So the thing is that he is doing some unnecessary mistakes, knowing mistakes in gate, and he is getting a very less marks. So he might be attempting for 90 marks and he will be getting finally 70 marks. So why is this happening? So this is just happening due to lack of practice. So most of the people make many mistakes in gate due to lack of practice. So one of the students, so his diameter is 2R. So in gate exam, what he did is, So you are going to make this kind of silly mistakes, so which brings you a rank from 90 marks to 70 marks. So we can overcome this by giving a regular online test series. So if you give the online test series regularly, what happens is you will be knowing what mistakes you are making, and depending upon the mistakes you are making, you are going to rectify. And if you give the online test series, what happens is you will be knowing where you are. So you will be knowing your exact position. So what is your position? So if 1,000 students are giving that exam online test series, in 1,000 students, where you are. So the scenario in 1,000 students, if you are at 100 position, it's useless. So the thing is, in 1,000 students, you should be at least in top 10. If you are in top 10, definitely you will be in top 100 in the final GATE examination. So GATE is a very easy examination. Why? Because first thing is syllabus is limited. So we are going to get questions from the same syllabus. And one more thing is, if you look at the previous year GATE questions, and if you go to GATE examination, you are going to get a similar concept questions. You are going to get similar kind of questions. And one more thing is, CalC is allowed. So what do you want other than this? So you know that we are very lazy fellows, and they are giving the CalC, and they are just giving very basic questions. They are just checking your concepts. They are not going to test your mental ability or all those things. They are just checking your concepts. If you are good at your concept, then you can easily go to the GATE examination and you can play with the paper. So there is no need of 3 hours for writing this GATE examination. There's more than 1.5 hours is best. More than enough. 1.5 hours is more than enough. So if you look at the strength of materials, this is a very easy subject. The thing is that if you look at the other subject like material science, you need to memorize many things. So coming to the strength of materials, there is no need for memorizing many things. So if you just attend the class and if you listen to the concept, it's more than enough. So for calculating stress, for calculating bending stress, for calculating shear stress, for calculating maximum normal stress, for calculating maximum shear stress, and for designing any object, what you need? You need to know how to calculate the stress. That's it. So there is no need to memorize anything. So very less thing is to be remembered, and it's very easy to revise. If you go through the subject for more than 2 to 3 times, it's very easy for you to revise this strength of materials within an hour. So if you practice this strength of materials regularly, you can easily revise this strength of materials subject before GATE exam in a single hour. So coming to this weightage of this strength of materials, if you look at all the previous 10 years, so you will be getting around 9 marks. So on an average, you are going to get a marks of 9 marks. So in the worst case, you are going to get 5 marks. So you are going to get 5 marks very easily, no need of any memorization, no need of any hard work. If you just listen to my class, or if you just practice the previous year GATE questions, and if you just give 2 to 3 online test series, that's more than enough. So you can easily score 9 marks. So for mechanical engineering students, you will be getting around 15 marks. So that is a combination of strength of materials and design. So if you are weak in strength of materials, it's very difficult for you to cope up with this design. So the thing is, you should be very clear in the concept of strength of materials, then only you can go through the design topics. Then 50 marks will be in your hand. So you can play with the design if you are good at strength of materials. So coming to this IAS examination, so for civil people this is good, and for mechanical people also this is good. Number of vacancies for in IAS or for mechanical is very less. So compared to civil, civil people have more number of vacancies, about 290 or 290 plus vacancies in IAS. So if you look at this particular examination, what is the beauty of this examination is, if you get 40% in your semester examination, you are called fail. So bacha fail ho gaya bolte bolta. So if you get 40% of marks, you are called a failure. So the same, if you get 40% marks in IAS, 40% marks in IAS, you are called an IAS officer. So why? Because the competition is very less in engineering services. Compared to this GATE, engineering services is very easy. So why? Because in GATE, so you may not be good at all the subjects. So in IAS, what happens is, so each and every subject has a very good weightage, where you can show yourself. In IAS, your hard work is directly proportional to the number of marks you are scoring in IAS. So whereas in GATE, your hard work and a little bit of luck is necessary for performing well in gate. So luck in the sense, so you may be doing some silly mistakes. If your luck is good, you may be skipping those mistakes. That's the thing. So in PS, 1 mark can change your life, but there's in gate 1 mark can change your rank. That's not the case with IS. So for civil people, you can just go through this IS also. After gate, most of the people will leave their preparation. So this is my suggestion is better go for ES also. So ES is very easy examination. If you look at the previous year papers, you will feel very easy. So they will ask very basic questions. So it may not involve much logic also compared to this gate. This gate people will ask little bit typical questions. So the best book for strength of material is Munagaya and Ashok Kumar Jain. This is Lakshmi Publications book. So you can also go through NTPL PDF also. That's also good. I referred that earlier. So one more thing is, what I suggest is, the classroom notes is more than enough. No need to go for these textbooks and all those things. If you are, once you are good with the classroom notes, or once you have realized these classroom notes 2 to 3 times, then you better to go for this textbook. If you feel monotony with this, what is this called? Classroom notes, you can go through this textbook also. This is good, excellent textbook. So what I suggest is, if you are following any book now, you better continue that one. Don't change your textbook. So there is nothing new that GATE is asking. GATE is asking only basics, which is present in all the textbooks. So if you are following any textbook, you can continue with the same textbook. There is no need to change the textbook for GATE. So what do we study in strength of materials? So what do we study in strength of materials? So engineering, so all the branches of the people, most of the branches of the engineering streams, so they will be using some physical systems. So these physical systems are composed of many number of small elements. So all the small elements put together will give a very big physical system. So during the usage of that physical system, what is happening? This many number of forces are being induced in that physical system. So our aim is, what are the loads that are being induced in each and every particle? So if I take an example of a building, so this building is composed of many number of small elements. So all the small elements put together is giving me this building. So this building as a whole is subjected to many number of loads. So like wind, so it may be it is subjected to wind loads, it is subjected to loads to the people who are moving inside the building, it is subjected to its own self-weight, and one more thing is it is subjected to, if some machines are operating inside the building, it is also subjected to the forces of that machine. So due to all these loads, what are the loads that are being carried by each and every individual part? So this building as a whole is made up of many number of small elements. So due to these external loads, what are the loads that are acting on each and every small element of that building? So what are the loads that are acting on each element, and the effect of those loads on this, element. So in strength of materials, what we study is, we just study the internal effects of the member due to the externally applied load. So we are concerned only about the internal effects due to externally applied loads. So if you look at this mechanics, so this mechanics is classified into 2 parts. The first thing is engineering mechanics. Or this mechanics is classified into 2 different parts. The first thing is engineering mechanics. This is also called as mechanics of rigid bodies. So in engineering mechanics or mechanics of rigid bodies, what we study is the effect of external loads on the rigid bodies. So I take a rigid body. So what are the effects that are caused due to this rigid body due to these external loads. I am going to study only the effects on this rigid body due to these external loads. Since this is a rigid body, there will be no deformation in this rigid body. So in engineering mechanics, what we study, we just study only the effects. We are not bothered about the deformation of the body. So we neglect the deformation of the body due to these applied loads. So one more thing is, this is mechanics of solids. This is mechanics of solids. This is also called as mechanics of deformable bodies. So mechanics of deformable bodies. So here we study the objects which are under external loading, and what we focus here is, we focus on the internal effects of the system, so to which it is subject. So if I take a system, it will subjected to some external loads. So what are the internal effects that are being generated inside the system? I am focusing on that area. So here we are concerned about the internal effects of the system. So here we are concerned about the internal effects of the system. Here we are not concerned about the internal effects of the system. So here we also take into account the deformation. So if I take a body, if I apply some external loads, what are the internal effects and what is the deformation and what is the stress taking inside that for that body, I am calculating in these mechanics of solids.